Hello all, it's so great to have you all here. I really hope you'll enjoy today's story. By the way, if any of you would like an alternate ending on any of our stories, or maybe have a story you'd like me to tell, just let me know. This story is called Eternal Battle Against Supernatural. Let's begin. The storm was raging one night. This could be the perfect setting for a spine-chilling tale. The wind howled through the trees, the rain pounded against the roof of the old cabin, and inside, a group of friends huddled around the fireplace, telling stories. "Do you guys believe in ghosts?" one of them asked, her voice trembling with fear. "Of course not," another replied dismissively. "They're just tales told to scare children." But as the night wore on and the wind howled louder, the stories became more and more believable. The group exchanged nervous glances as they heard strange noises coming from outside, and the door creaked ominously in the wind. Suddenly, a cold voice whispered in their ears, "I'm not afraid of ghosts." It was the first one to speak, her bravado shattering the tense silence. But then there was a loud, thundering boom. At first they thought a bomb had gone off, but it was an angry spirit. The group of non-believers had now upset a power demon and his ghostly followers. The air grew thick with the scent of rotting flesh, and the sound of footsteps echoed through the cabin, but no one could see anything in the darkness. The group huddled together, their hearts pounding in their chests as the demon's ghostly followers began to materialize before their eyes. The first was a woman, her face twisted in anger and her eyes glowing bright red. She floated towards them, her long hair trailing in the air behind her, and let out a blood-curdling scream. The group stumbled backwards, their eyes wide with terror, but there was nowhere to run. Suddenly the cabin shook and the door flew open, revealing a figure standing in the rain outside. It was the demon, his eyes burning with an otherworldly light as he stepped into the cabin. He towered over them, his dark cloak swirling around him, and the group could feel his power emanating from his very being. "You should have heeded my warning," he growled, his voice sending shivers down their spines. "Now you will pay the price for your disbelief." The group tried to run, but the demon's ghostly followers blocked their path. They were trapped, with no hope of escape. The demon's eyes locked onto them, and the group knew that they were about to face a fate worse than death. As the demon's power washed over them, the group realized that they had made a grave mistake in dismissing the existence of ghosts. They had always thought that they were invincible, but now they knew that they were at the mercy of the supernatural. And as the demon's laughter echoed through the cabin, they knew that they would never be the same again. They heard monstrously loud sounds, so went outside to investigate. To their holy fear, they witnessed fiery gates all crashing down, covering all sectors of the property. There was no escape. "What the heck are we going to do now?" The group's panicked whispers filled the air as they frantically looked around, searching for any way to escape the encroaching terror. The once cozy fireplace seemed like a dim candle against the suffocating darkness that surrounded them. "Stay together!" one of them shouted, her voice quivering. "We need to find a way to break this curse or whatever it is!" But as they moved, the demon's followers glided closer, their malevolent eyes fixated on the trapped humans. The air grew colder, and the sound of whispers echoed through the cabin, carrying chilling promises of torment and suffering. "We need to fight back," another exclaimed, clutching a fireplace poker like a makeshift weapon. "Maybe if we can confront the demon, we can somehow bargain with it." Their trembling steps led them towards the towering figure at the center of the room. The demon's laughter pierced through the air like shards of ice, sending shivers down their spines. With each step, the weight of the supernatural presence bore down on them, making it hard to breathe. "Stop right there, mortals," the demon's voice rumbled, causing the very floor to tremble. "Your attempts to defy me are futile." Despite their fear, the group mustered their courage and faced the demon with determined expressions. "We don't believe in you," one of them stammered, their voice shaking. "You can't control us." The demon's eyes flared with an even brighter intensity, and the air crackled with energy. "You dare challenge me?" it hissed, its voice a symphony of malevolence. "Very well, let's see how long your bravery lasts." A blinding light filled the cabin, and the group felt a searing pain as if their very souls were being tested. Their vision blurred, and the world around them seemed to twist and contort. As the light faded, they found themselves in a nightmarish realm, a landscape of torment and despair. "You have entered my domain," the demon's voice echoed in their minds. "Here you will face your deepest fears, your darkest regrets, and you will know the true meaning of terror." The group's screams echoed through the twisted realm as they were subjected to unimaginable horrors. Each step they took felt like an eternity, and the demon's laughter followed them like a haunting melody. They stumbled through the dark landscape, their bodies and minds pushed to their limits. But even in the midst of their terror, a glimmer of hope remained. "We can't give up," one of them gasped, their voice barely audible over the screams and wails of the tormented souls around them. "We have to keep pushing forward no matter what." The group's determination grew with each passing moment, and they began to fight back against the demon's influence. They refused to let their fear consume them, and instead channeled their anger and frustration into a fierce resolve. "We will not be broken," another shouted, their fists clenched in determination. "We will not be defeated by some otherworldly monster." As they pressed on, the landscape began to shift, and the screams faded into a distant echo. The demon's laughter grew fainter, and the group could feel the pressure lifting from their minds. And then, finally, they saw a glimmer of light in the distance. It was small at first, barely visible against the darkness, but it grew stronger with each step they took. "That's our way out," one of them cried, pointing towards the light. "We have to reach it." The group ran towards the light, their hearts pounding with anticipation. The demon's laughter grew louder, but they refused to be deterred. They had come too far to give up now. And then they burst through the light, back into the cabin where it had all started. The demon's followers had disappeared, and the air was still once again. "We did it," one of them whispered, collapsing onto the floor in exhaustion. "We beat the demon." But as they caught their breath and looked around, they realized that something had changed. The cabin was no longer just a place of refuge, but a battleground between the living and the dead. And they knew that their fight against the supernatural was far from over. Exhausted and shaken, the group exchanged wary glances. The cabin's walls seemed to hold the whispers of the demon's presence, a lingering reminder of the terrors they had faced. Their victory felt fragile, like a thin barrier separating them from the horrors that had consumed them moments ago. "We can't stay here," one of them said, her voice quivering. "We need to find a way to break this curse for good." They gathered around the fireplace, the same one that had been their source of comfort earlier, now a flickering beacon of hope in the darkness. "We need to uncover the demon's weakness," another added, his eyes scanning the room for any clue. As they searched for answers, the wind outside howled louder, sending eerie shivers down their spines. Rain continued to lash against the windows, creating a symphony of dread that seemed to mirror their internal turmoil. "I remember hearing a tale," one of them began, her voice barely above a whisper. "A legend about a lost artifact, said to have the power to banish even the darkest of spirits." The group's attention was fully captured, and they leaned in, eager to hear more. The story unfolded, revealing a quest that would take them deep into the heart of the cursed forest surrounding the cabin. A forest where the boundary between the living and the dead was thin. A place filled with the echoes of forgotten horrors. With grim determination, the group realized that their only chance lay in venturing into the very heart of the darkness that had ensnared them. Armed with newfound purpose, they gathered supplies, strengthened their resolve, and prepared for the journey ahead. As they stepped into the forest, the air grew heavy with anticipation. The trees seemed to whisper secrets, and the ground beneath their feet felt like it held the weight of 1,000 lost souls. The group moved forward cautiously, each step a deliberate act of defiance against the malevolent forces that sought to consume them. The forest was a labyrinth of twisted paths and gnarled trees, leading them deeper into the unknown. The wind carried distant cries, the echoes of the tortured spirits that haunted the land. Every rustle of leaves, every fleeting shadow sent their hearts racing, yet they pressed on, their conviction unwavering. In their journey they encountered unsettling sights, a clearing filled with ghostly apparitions, a river shrouded in mist that seemed to whisper secrets, and an ancient decaying shrine that exuded an eerie aura. At each turn their determination was tested, their bond as friends their only anchor in this nightmarish realm. As they ventured further, the group began to sense a change in the atmosphere. The air grew colder, the forest denser, and an overwhelming sense of dread gripped them. They had reached the heart of the cursed forest, a place where the veil between worlds was at its thinnest. At the center of the clearing stood an ancient, gnarled tree with roots that seemed to reach deep into the very core of the earth. Nestled within its roots was the artifact they sought, the key to banishing the demon and breaking the curse. With trembling hands, they retrieved the artifact, feeling its power course through their veins. Yet as they held it, a voice echoed in their minds, a chilling spectral whisper that sent shivers down their spines. "You think you can defeat me?" the voice taunted. "You are but insects trapped in a web of your own making." The group stood strong, their resolve unshaken. "We will not be controlled by fear," they declared, their voices echoing with newfound strength. As the artifact's power surged, the forest trembled and the ground shook. Shadows twisted and contorted, and the demon's voice grew louder, a symphony of malevolence that filled the air. With a final desperate surge of energy, they channeled the artifact's power, unleashing a blinding light that pierced through the darkness. The very fabric of reality seemed to waver as their efforts culminated in a cataclysmic explosion of energy. When the light faded, the forest was still, the silence broken only by the soft rustling of leaves. The curse had been broken, and the demon's influence had been banished. As they returned to the cabin, their steps felt lighter, their hearts no longer burdened by the weight of fear. The walls no longer held the whispers of the demon's presence, and the wind outside had subsided. But even as they sighed in relief, they knew that the world held many secrets, both light and darkness. The artifact's power had opened their eyes to a realm beyond their understanding, and they were left with the knowledge that the battle between the living and the supernatural was an eternal struggle. The group gathered around the fireplace once more, their faces illuminated by the flickering flames. "We may have banished the demon," one of them said, "but there are many more mysteries out there. We can't let our guard down." Their story continued as they embarked on new journeys, facing the unknown with courage and determination. The cabin stood as a testament to their resilience, a haven against the encroaching darkness. Little did they know the artifact's power had drawn the attention of other supernatural forces, and their adventures were far from over. As they settled in for another night by the fireplace, the wind began to whisper secrets once more, carrying with it the promise of new terrors and uncharted realms. Thanks for watching. Also, if you liked the story, if you'll smash the like and subscribe buttons, that would be great. Anyways, until next time, bye-bye!